Hello everyone. Our today's topic is cirrhotic liver disease and its complications. Cirrhosis is one of the 10 leading causes of death. It is characterized by four main features. First is it involves entire liver. Second is normal lobular architecture of liver is disorganized. Third one is formation of nodules separated by fibrous septa. And fourth one is alternative areas of necrosis and regenerative nodules. Pathophysiology of cirrhosis. At first, there occurs hepatocellular necrosis, which is followed by fibrosis around the necrotic liver cells and proliferated ductules. There is also formation of regenerative nodules, which is caused by growth factors and hormonal imbalance. Mechanism of fibrosis in cirrhosis is increased number of collagen producing cells. So, increase in synthesis of all types of collagens. Besides collagen, fibronectin and laminin are also deposited in excessive amount in the area of liver cell damage. Classification of cirrhosis. There are two types of classification. One is based on morphology and another is based on etiology. Morphological classification classifies cirrhosis into three types: micronodular, macronodular and mixed type. Each of these types have again active and inactive form. Active form is characterized by continuing hepatocellular necrosis and inflammatory reaction resembling chronic hepatitis. Inactive form is characterized by no evidence of hepatocellular necrosis and has sharply defined nodules of surviving hepatic parenchyma without any significant inflammation. Now, micronodular cirrhosis. In this, nodules are small and regular, measuring less than 3 mm in size. There is diffuse involvement of all hepatic lobules, forming nodules by thick fibrous septa. It consists with etiological type of alcoholic cirrhosis. It represents impaired capacity for regrowth as seen in alcoholism, malnutrition, severe anemia and old age. Figure showing micronodular cirrhosis of liver. Liver shows nodules measuring less than 3 mm in size, which are regular in size. Most common causes chronic alcoholism, others are Wilson's disease, primary biliary cirrhosis and hemochromatosis. Second type is macronodular cirrhosis, in which nodules are of variable size and are generally larger than 3 mm in diameter. The pattern of involvement is irregular than in macronodular type, sparing some portal tracts and central veins. It corresponds to the post-necrotic or post-hepatitic type of etiological classification. Figure showing macronodular cirrhosis having nodules measuring more than 3 mm in size. Most common causes viral hepatitis B or C. Other causes are Wilson's disease and alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. Mixed type. In this, some parts of the liver show micronodular pattern while other parts show macronodular pattern. All the portal tracts and central veins are not involved by fibrosis, but instead some of them are spared. Figure showing micro as well as macro nodules. Etiological classification of cirrhosis. Alcoholic cirrhosis, which is most common. Others are post-necrotic cirrhosis, biliary cirrhosis, pigment cirrhosis in hemochromatosis, cirrhosis in Wilson's disease, cirrhosis in alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, cardiac cirrhosis, Indian childhood cirrhosis, cirrhosis in autoimmune hepatitis, and cryptogenic cirrhosis. Now we will go through specific types of cirrhosis. First we will see alcoholic liver disease and cirrhosis. It includes spectrum of liver injury associated with acute and chronic alcoholism. It has 3 stages. First one is alcoholic steatosis or fatty change. Second one is alcoholic hepatitis, and third one is alcoholic cirrhosis. Risk factors for cirrhosis. First one is drinking pattern. Chronic and excessive consumption of alcohol leads to fatty liver in 90% cases, alcoholic hepatitis in 10 to 20% cases, and eventually leads to alcoholic cirrhosis. Continued daily ingestion of 60 to 80 gram of ethanol for at least 10 years is likely to develop into cirrhosis. Liver injury is related to the quantity and duration of consumption of ethanol and not on the type of alcohol. Intermittent drinking for long duration is less harmful because here liver is given chance to recover. Gender. Women have increased susceptibility, which may be due to estrogen. Women are prone to develop advanced liver disease with much less quantity of consumption, even 20 to 40 grams per day. Infection. Intercurrent bacterial infections may accelerate the course of disease. Malnutrition. Chronic alcohol ingestion with impaired nutrition leads to chronic alcoholic disease. Calories derived from alcohol displace other nutrients, leading to malnutrition and deficiency of vitamins in alcoholics. Protein-rich diets will be helpful to this. Genetic factors. Genetic polymorphism for 2 enzymes, microsomal P450 oxidase and alcohol dehydrogenase, leads to altered rate of elimination of ethanol. Hepatitis C infection. Simultaneous HCV infection in chronic alcoholics leads to development of alcoholic liver disease with much less alcohol consumption, even 20 to 50 grams per day, disease progression at younger age, having greater severity, increased risk to develop cirrhosis and carcinoma, and overall poor survival. Pathogenesis. Ethanol and its metabolites are responsible mainly for effects on liver in alcoholic with above risk factors. First is direct hepatotoxicity of ethanol. Continuous consumption of ethanol for 8 to 10 days regularly may cause direct toxicity on liver and produce fatty change. Ethanol is directly toxic to microtubules, mitochondria, and membrane of hepatocytes. Hepatotoxicity by ethanol metabolites. Two main metabolites are protein aldehyde adduct and malondialdehyde acetaldehyde. The protein aldehyde is more toxic and causes cytoskeleton and membrane damage and brings hepatocellular necrosis. Malondialdehyde acetaldehyde produces autoantibodies and initiates autoimmune response. It also causes hepatic fibrosis. Oxidative stress. Oxidation of ethanol by cytochrome P450 oxidase generates free radicals which causes oxidative damage to the membranes. Immunological mechanism. Cell-mediated immunity is impaired in alcoholics because ethanol causes direct immunological attack on hepatocytes. Inflammation. Chronic ethanol ingestion is injurious to intestinal cells also. These injured intestinal cells produce endotoxins which release pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha, interleukin 1 and 6, transforming growth factor beta. These cytokines produce apoptosis and necrosis of hepatocyte and initiates inflammation. Hypoxia. Chronic ingestion of alcohol results in increased oxygen demand by liver, resulting in hypoxia, which causes hepatocellular necrosis, particularly in the zone 3. Fibrogenesis. It is activated by damaged hepatocytes, malondialdehyde acetaldehyde product, activated Kupffer cell and acetaldehyde. Retention of water and protein in the liver cell, resulting in swelling of hepatocytes and producing hepatomegaly in alcoholics. Increased redox ratio. Increase in NADH-NAD redox ratio in hepatocytes also results in increased redox ratio of lactate pyruvate, which leads to lactic acidosis. This altered ratio results in fatty liver, collagen formation, gout, and impaired gluconeogenesis. Increased liver fat. In chronic alcoholism, liver fat is increased because of excess mobilization from adipose tissue and increased lipid synthesis by liver. Morphological features of cirrhosis. 3 types of morphological changes are seen, which we have seen earlier: alcoholic steatosis, alcoholic hepatitis, and alcoholic cirrhosis. First is alcoholic steatosis or fatty liver. In this, Crossley liver is enlarged, tense, yellow, greasy with glistening capsule and rounded edges. In the cut surface, it is pale yellow to yellow and greasy to touch. Figure on left side shows outer surface of liver, which is yellow, greasy with glistening capsule and rounded margin. Figure on the right side shows cut surface of the liver, which is yellow and greasy to touch. Microscopically, the characteristic feature is presence of lipid vacuoles in the cytoplasm of hepatocytes. In the H&E stain, fat appears as non-staining vacuoles because fat gets dissolved in alcohol. Initially, vacuoles are small, representing microvesicular form pattern. With progression, vacuoles become larger, pushing the nucleus to the periphery of the cell, representing macrovesicular pattern. This fat is demonstrated in fresh, unfixed tissue by fat stain like Sudan dyes and oil red O. Figure on the left side shows normal histology of liver, showing portal triad, central vein, and cords of hepatocytes radiating from central vein towards portal triad with absence of fibrosis. Figure in the right side shows fatty change. Numerous hepatocytes with fat vacuoles are seen, which appears as empty cell. This nucleus is pushed to the periphery of the cell border. Second one is alcoholic hepatitis. It develops acutely following bouts of heavy drink. Histologically, there are four main features: hepatocellular necrosis, Mallory bodies, inflammatory response, and fibrosis. Single or small clusters of hepatocytes undergo ballooning degeneration and necrosis, especially in zone 3. Mallory bodies, they are eosinophilic intracytoplasmic inclusions seen in perinuclear location within balloon hepatocytes. They represent aggregates of cytoskeletal intermediate filaments. They are visualized by stain like Mason trichrome and chromophobaniline dye. Apart from cirrhosis, Mallory bodies are also found in other conditions like primary biliary cirrhosis, Indian childhood cirrhosis, cholestatic syndrome, Wilson's disease, intestinal bypass surgery, focal nodular hyperplasia, and hepatocellular carcinoma. So, presence of Mallory bodies is suggestive of but not specific for diagnosis of alcoholic hepatitis or cirrhosis. Arrow in the figure shows Mallory body as intracytoplasmic eosinophilic inclusion. Inflammatory response. Areas of hepatocellular necrosis and Mallory bodies are associated with inflammatory infiltrate, chiefly polymorphs. Fibrosis. Most of the cases are associated with pericellular and perivenular fibrosis, producing web-like or chicken wire-like appearance. This is called as creeping collagenosis. Microscopical appearance of alcoholic hepatitis, showing ballooning degeneration of hepatocytes, inflammatory infiltrate, chiefly neutrophils, Mallory body, and fibrosis. Third one is alcoholic cirrhosis, which is most common form of lesion, also known as Lennox cirrhosis, portal cirrhosis, Hobnail cirrhosis, nutritional cirrhosis, or micronodular cirrhosis. Grossly, it begins as micronodular cirrhosis initially. Liver is large, fatty, weighing more than 2 kg. After a long time, liver shrinks to less than 1 kg, becomes non-fatty, having macronodules measuring more than 3 mm, resembling to post-necrotic cirrhosis. Liver surface is studded with diffuse nodules which vary little in size, producing Hobnail liver. because of resemblance to the surface of sole of old-fashioned shoes having short nail and heavy head. On cut surface, spheroidal or angular nodules of fibrous septa seen. Microscopically, the features are nodular pattern. Whole liver is replaced by nodule formation. Formation of fibrous septa, dividing hepatic parenchyma into nodules. Initially, the septa are delicate. As fibrous scarring increases, the fibrous septa becomes dense and more confluent. In the surviving parenchyma, hepatocytes undergo slow proliferation, forming regenerative nodules. But within the nodule, hepatic parenchyma shows extensive fatty change. As the fibrous septa become more thick, amount of fat in hepatocyte is reduced. So, there is inverse relationship between amount of fibrosis and amount of fat. Necrosis, inflammation and bile duct proliferation. The fibrous septa contain sparse infiltrate of mononuclear cells with some bile duct proliferation. There is also bile stasis and increased cytoplasmic hemosiderin due to increased iron absorption in alcoholic cirrhosis. Figure showing normal liver, fatty liver and cirrhotic liver from left to right. This low power view of alcoholic cirrhosis. It shows micronodules as well as macronodules separated by fibrous septa. Another view of alcoholic cirrhosis showing nodule of regenerative hepatocytes and thick bands of fibrous tissue. Comparison between histology of normal liver and cirrhotic liver. Left side figure shows normal liver, on the right side it is cirrhotic liver showing fatty change and fibrosis. Now we will see non-alcoholic liver disease and cirrhosis. Post-necrotic cirrhosis, most common form of non-alcoholic cirrhosis, also known as post-hepatic cirrhosis, macronodular cirrhosis and coarsely nodular cirrhosis. It is characterized by large and irregular nodules with broad bands of connective tissue. Most common cause is previous viral hepatitis. Etiology: viral hepatitis B and C most common cause. Others are drugs and chemical hepatotoxins like phosphorus, carbon tetrachloride, alpha-methyl dopa, mushroom poisoning, infections like brucellosis, parasitic infestations, metabolic diseases like Wilson's disease or hepatolenticular degeneration, or it may be idiopathic. Morphological features: post-necrotic cirrhosis is macronodular type. Grossly, the liver is small, weighing less than 1 kg, having distorted shape and nodules of varying size. Microscopically, the features are normal lobular architecture of liver parenchyma is lost and is replaced by nodules larger than those in alcoholic cirrhosis. Fibrous septa. Fibrous septa dividing the nodules are generally thick compared to alcoholic cirrhosis. Active liver cell necrosis is usually inconspicuous. Fibrous septa contains prominent mononuclear inflammatory infiltrate instead of neutrophilic infiltrate, which is seen in alcoholic cirrhosis. And here often there is extensive proliferation of bile ductiles. Hepatic parenchyma. Liver cells vary in size with multiple large nuclei in regenerative nodules. Fatty change may or may not be present in hepatocytes, which is more prominent in alcoholic cirrhosis. Figure showing post-necrotic cirrhosis. From left to right, there is necrosed hepatocytes, irregular nodules, fibrous septa, bile duct hyperplasia, and mononuclear inflammatory infiltrate. Difference between post-necrotic cirrhosis and alcoholic cirrhosis. Malnutrition is mild to moderate in post-necrotic type, while it is moderate to severe in alcoholic cirrhosis. Liver is small in size in post-necrotic cirrhosis, which is huge in size in alcoholic cirrhosis. Liver surface is mostly macronodular in post-necrotic type and macronodular in alcoholic type. Fatty change is often absent in post-necrotic cirrhosis and more prominent in alcoholic cirrhosis. Portal hypertension occurs, which is mild to moderate in post-necrotic cirrhosis and moderate to severe in alcoholic cirrhosis. There is only mild neuropathy in post-necrotic cirrhosis, but in alcoholic cirrhosis, severe neuropathy occurs. Leukocytes show leukocytopenia in both the type, and platelets show thrombocytopenia in both the types. AST-ALT ratio is usually 1 to 2 in post-necrotic type, which is more than 2 in alcoholic cirrhosis. Microscopically, Mallory bodies and sinusoidal fibrosis are absent in post-necrotic type, but they are typical of alcoholic cirrhosis type. Inflammatory infiltrate consisting of lymphocytes mainly in post-necrotic type and polymorphs mainly in alcoholic type. Clinical features of cirrhosis. The features are more marked in alcoholic type than other varieties, and most common symptoms are weakness, fatigue, weight loss, anorexia, muscle wasting, and low-grade fever. Laboratory evaluation of liver disease. For estimation of hepatocyte function, we measure serum albumin, prothrombin time, and serum ammonia. To assess hepatocyte injury, we measure enzymes which are normally present inside the hepatocytes and released with injury. Commonly measured enzymes are serum aspartate aminotransferase, serum alanine aminotransferase, and serum lactate dehydrogenase. In whom the diagnosis of cirrhosis is suspected. Patients with elevated transaminases, rise in serum gamma glutamate transpeptidases, elevation in serum alkaline phosphatase, hyperbilirubinemia, hypoproteinemia with reversed AG ratio, prolonged PT and APTT, anemia, and neutrophilic leukocytosis suggest diagnosis of cirrhosis. Biliary cirrhosis, chronic disorder characterized by features of continued cholestasis of intrahepatic or extrahepatic type. It has three main types: primary biliary cirrhosis, secondary biliary cirrhosis, and cirrhosis due to primary sclerosing cholangitis. Primary biliary cirrhosis is predominant in middle-aged women. Causes are these genetic factors and certain HLA types, elevated cholesterol level, associated autoimmune diseases like scleroderma, Sjogren's syndrome, CREST syndrome, and autoimmune thyroiditis. Clinical features: patients present with persistent pruritus, dark urine, pale stools, steatorrhea, jaundice, and skin pigmentation. Death may result from hepatic failure, variceal bleeding, intercurrent infection, or carcinoma of liver. Laboratory finding is markedly elevated serum alkaline phosphatase level with elevation of serum lipids. Morphologically, grossly in all the types, the liver is enlarged initially and greenish in appearance. Later on, liver becomes small, firm, and micronodular. There is characteristic bedding of intra and extrahepatic bile ducts due to irregular strictures and dilatation. Microscopically, the diagnostic feature is chronic non-suppurative destructive cholangitis involving intrahepatic bile ducts. The disease passes through 4 stages. In the first stage, there are florid bile duct lesions consisting of destruction of bile ducts, presence of bile plug, infiltration of inflammatory cells, and formation of granuloma. In second stage, there is ductular proliferation. The inflammatory infiltrate extends beyond the portal tracts into surrounding hepatic parenchyma. Third stage is characterized by fibrous scarring. There is diminished inflammatory infiltrate and reduced number of bile ducts. In the stage 4, well-formed micronodular pattern of cirrhosis develops over a period of few years. Figure showing all the 4 stages of primary biliary cirrhosis. The stage 1 is bile duct proliferation, inflammation. Stage 2 showing periportal fibrosis. Stage 3 showing increase in connective tissue, bridging fibrosis. And stage 4 showing cirrhosis with decreased number of bile duct. Secondary biliary cirrhosis. There is obstruction of extrahepatic biliary passages, while in primary biliary cirrhosis there is obstruction of intrahepatic biliary passages. The causes of secondary biliary cirrhosis include extrahepatic cholelithiasis, which is most common cause. Others are biliary atresia, cancer of biliary tree and head of pancreas, and postoperative strictures. Patients usually present with past history of gallstone by biliary tract surgery or clinical features of ascending cholangitis. Morphologically, there is bile stasis, degeneration, and necrosis of hepatocytes. Yes. Proliferation, dilatation, and rupture of bile ductule with formation of bile legs, cholangitis, and progressive expansion of portal tract by fibrosis and evolution into micronodular cirrhosis. Cirrhosis due to primary sclerosing cholangitis. It is characterized by progressive inflammatory sclerosing and obliterative process affecting both extrahepatic and intrahepatic ducts. So, primary biliary cirrhosis is obstruction of intrahepatic biliary passage. Secondary biliary cirrhosis is obstruction of extrahepatic biliary passage, and cirrhosis due to primary sclerosing cholangitis is obstruction of extrahepatic and intrahepatic both biliary passages. The causes of primary sclerosing cholangitis are viral and bacterial infections, immunological injury, toxins, and genetic predisposition. Clinical features. Disease occurs in third to fifth decade of life. Patients may remain asymptomatic or may show features of cholestatic jaundice like raised alkaline phosphatase, pruritus, and fatigue. Morphological features. There is fibrosing cholangitis with lymphocytic infiltrate around bile ducts, pyriductal fibrosis, dilatation of intervening bile ducts, and cholestasis. Over a period of years, patients may develop full-blown picture of biliary cirrhosis. Cirrhosis in non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, also known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It is a form of hepatitis resembling alcoholic liver disease but seen in non-drinkers of alcohol. It is strong association with obesity, dyslipidemia, type 2 diabetes mellitus, and young age group. Patients are generally asymptomatic. Complications of cirrhosis. Portal hypertension is the most common complication. Others are progressive hepatic failure, development of hepatocellular carcinoma, which is most common in post-necrotic type than alcoholic type. Chronic relapsing pancreatitis, it is common in alcoholic liver disease. Steatorrhea due to reduced hepatic bile secretion. Gallstone of pigment type. Infections are also common due to impaired phagocytic activity of reticuloendothelial system. Hematological abnormalities like bleeding disorder and anemia due to impaired hepatic synthesis of coagulation factors. And cardiovascular complications like atherosclerosis and myocardial infarction are also common. Portal hypertension, most common complication of cirrhosis, is characterized by increase in pressure in the portal system, which follows obstruction to the portal blood flow anywhere along its course. The normal portal venous pressure is quite low, measuring 10 to 15 mm of saline. Portal hypertension occurs when portal pressure rises above 30 mm of saline. Based on the site of obstruction to the portal venous blood flow, portal hypertension is classified into three types: prehepatic, intrahepatic, and posthepatic. Causes of intrahepatic portal hypertension. Cirrhosis is most common cause. Others are metastatic tumors, Budd-Chiari syndrome, hepatic veno-occlusive disease, diffuse granulomatous disease, extensive fatty change, and schistosomiasis. Causes of post-hepatic portal hypertension. Prolonged congestive heart failure is most common cause. Other causes are constrictive pericarditis, Budd-Chiari syndrome, and neoplastic occlusion. Causes of prehepatic portal hypertension. Portal vein thrombosis, neoplastic obstruction of portal vein, myelofibrosis, or congenital absence of portal vein. Clinical consequences of portal hypertension. There are four major clinical consequences: ascites, varices, splenomegaly, and hepatic encephalopathy. Ascites. It is accumulation of excessive volume of fluid within peritoneal cavity. It is associated with hemodilution, edema, and decreased urinary output. Generally, ascitic fluid is transudate with specific gravity of 1.010 and protein content below 3 gram per deciliter. Ascites becomes clinically detectable when more than 500 ml of fluid gets accumulated in the peritoneal cavity. Factors involved in formation of ascites are systemic factors, decreased plasma colloidal oncotic pressure, hyperaldosteronism, impaired renal excretion and retention of sodium and water. Local factors are increased portal pressure and increased hepatic lymph formation. Another consequence is varices or collateral channels. Due to increase in portal venous pressure and obstruction in the portal circulation, the blood tends to bypass the liver and return to the heart by development of shunts or varices. These varices develop at the sites where systemic and portal circulations have common capillary beds. Common sites of varices. Most common is gastroesophageal varices, which occur at the sites of anastomosis of lapped gastric veins and esophageal veins. Hemorrhoids occur at the sites of anastomosis of superior hemorrhoidal vein and middle and inferior hemorrhoidal vein. Caput medusa occurs at the site of anastomosis between left portal vein and anterior abdominal wall veins. Caput medusa are seen in the anterior abdominal wall around the umbilicus. And another site is retroperitoneal collaterals, which occurs at the site of anastomosis between left renal vein and liver via lienorenal ligament. Figure showing common sites of varices. First is gastroesophageal varices, second is caput medusa, and third one is hemorrhoids. The circle in green color shows sites of anastomosis. Splenomegaly. Enlargement of the spleen due to prolonged portal hypertension is called congestive splenomegaly. Here, spleen may weigh 500 to 1000 gram and is easily palpable. Spleen is larger in macronodular cirrhosis than in micronodular cirrhosis. Hepatic encephalopathy, a complex metabolic syndrome of the brain characterized by disturbed consciousness, neurological signs, and flapping tremors. It is associated with advanced hepatocellular disease. So, this is all about cirrhosis and its complications. Thank you.